Und darum hast du sie umgebracht?
Ja, nicht weil ich wütend auf sie war oder sie gehasst habe. Aber ich wollte, dass sie ein Teil von mir werden.
Heute zeigen wir euch die verstörenden Interviews von Serienkillern. Nummer 1, Jeffrey Dahmer.
We should warn you, the details are very graphic.
I started having these obsessive thoughts when I was about 15 and 16, and they got worse and worse.
What were your fantasies about?
They were sexual fantasies of control, power, complete dominance. They became reality.
Was there pleasure in that fantasy?
There was excitement, fear, pleasure, all mixed together.
Jeffrey Dahmer fulfilled his fantasies by murdering and dismembering 17 young men. In time, his desires became more extreme, his deeds more grotesque. Listen to him talk about the most unnatural things in the most matter-of-fact of ways. That's when you realize that none of it has touched him.
I was branching out. That's when the cannibalism started, eating of the heart and the arm muscle. It was a way of making me feel that they were a part of me. At first it was just curiosity, and then it became compulsive. Then I tried to keep the person alive by inducing a zombie-like state. By injecting first dilute acid solution into their brain or hot water, and it never did completely work.
Could someone like you be stopped? Could you be helped?
No, I was dead set on going with this compulsion. It was the only thing that gave me any satisfaction.
Nummer 2, Wesley Allen Dodd.
Be aware that portions of this story are intense.
I am exactly what a serial killer looks like. I'm exactly what a sex offender looks like. It can be anybody. I kidnapped 3 little boys, a 4-year-old, 10-year-old, and 11-year-old, and I killed all 3 of them. I didn't just go out and start killing. Everything started happening when I was just 13 years old. Authorities don't care if I engage in that kind of activity either. Progressed a little bit more. Started asking other kids to pull their pants down. After that arrest, and the charges were dropped, I was in counseling for a short period of time. For only a couple of months. It wasn't required, so I quit going. See, things kept progressing. I kept getting away with all these crimes. While I was going to try to do a little bit more, I was enjoying what I was doing. You know, I mean, hey, great, I could do anything I want. Anything. They couldn't report what I'd done, who had done it. But I wasn't sure I could kill, so in my mind, I had to make that exciting. I had to fantasize about it, and to be able to kill, I had to make that thought exciting. And in a matter of just a couple of weeks, I was able to do that, and I was ready to kill. I wanted to kill. Stabbing him before he could get away. He told me, I'm sorry. After all that had happened, all planning and fantasies and everything, I can't believe I actually did it. I actually killed somebody. I killed 2 little boys. And I just became obsessed with it at that point. I mean, that is all I thought about. Every minute I was awake, I had dreams about it. At work, that's all I thought about. And there was a little boy I figured was maybe 4 or 5 off. Okay, I'm going to get that little boy. I'm going to get that little 4 or 5-year-old. Ask him if he wanted to play some games, and that sounded like a good idea. He was kind of hesitant about going anywhere with me. Reached out my hand, and just kind of an automatic response, he reached out and took my hand. And that was it. He went with me. And I said, well, what if I take you down to Kmart and we'll buy you something to play with and we'll go to McDonald's for dinner? Then would you like to spend the night with me? And he said, okay, yeah, that would be all right. So I just kidnapped him a couple hours earlier, and I take him into a busy Kmart store. But he kind of mumbled, what? And I repeated, I said, I'm going to kill you in the morning. And he said, no, you're not. I said, okay, I won't. He never opened his eyes, moving to a different place where I could kidnap kids and keep them and use them for as long as I wanted. Kind of use them as sex slaves. He yelled, someone help me, he's killing me. He, of course, at that time didn't have any way of knowing that that's exactly what I intended to do. The things I would have done would have been even worse than murder. The system does not work, and from my point of view, it doesn't even want to. I was never abused, I was never sexually abused, I was never physically abused, I wasn't neglected. The family had plenty of money, owned our own house, 2 cars, a trailer. I had a happy childhood. Death penalty is not a deterrent. I knew it could happen. I knew I would probably get the death penalty if I was ever caught. I didn't care. I mean, death means nothing to me.
Nummer 3. Ted Bundy.
Now walk me through that. What was going on in your mind at that time?
Okay, before we go any further, I think it's important to me, and that people believe what I'm saying, to tell you that I'm not blaming pornography and not saying that it caused me to go out and do certain things. And I take full responsibility for whatever I've done and all the things that I've done. That's not the question here. The question and the issue is how this kind of literature contributed and helped mold and shape the kinds of violent behavior.
It fueled your fantasies, didn't it?
Well, in the beginning, it fuels this kind of thought process. Then, at a certain time, it's instrumental in what I would say crystallizing it, making it into something which is almost like a separate entity inside. And at that point, you're at the verge, or I was at the verge of acting out on these kinds of thoughts.
Now, I really want to understand that. You had gone about as far as you could go in your own fantasy life with printed material, and you made or printed and video or film or
film,
photos,
magazines, what have you. Yeah.
And then there was the urge to take that little step or big step over to a physical event.
And it happens. It happened in stages, gradually. It doesn't necessarily, not to me at least, happen overnight. My experience with, I'd say, pornography generally, but with pornography that deals on a violent level with sexuality, is that once you become addicted to it, and I look at this as a kind of addiction, like other kinds of addiction, I would keep looking for more potent, more explicit, more graphic kinds of material. Like an addiction, you keep craving something which is harder, something which gives you a greater sense of excitement, until you reach the point where the pornography only goes so far. You reach that jumping off point where you begin to wonder if maybe actually doing it will give you that which is beyond just reading about it or looking at it.
Was sagt ihr zu den Interviews? Schreibt's gerne mal in die Kommentare. In unseren Augen sind die einfach nur krank und widerlich. Bis zum nächsten Mal.